Pinkie Pie has got to be the most bright and positive character in My Little Pony. Of course, every pony in the show is quite colorful and happy, but Pinkie Pie is different. She's always bursting with energy, being incredibly silly, and throwing parties and surprising others for all sorts of different occasions. Whether it's a pony's birthday, or something insanely specific like Rainbow Dash's 73rd Wonderbolt training session.
Surprise! Happy 73rd Wonderbolt training session!
She's overall a pretty selfless character, with her happiness coming from making other ponies happy. But there is one episode from season 1, Party of One, where this ray of sunshine started to break. She didn't have that high energy or that positivity or that silliness, but she felt more bitter, angry, sad, and she even started hallucinating. Now, this is one of the most iconic episodes of the whole show, further exploring Pinkie Pie's character and also being the episode to help popularize the concept of her being this crazy and evil character along with the Cupcakes creepypasta, which came out a few months prior. It's also often considered to be one of the best episodes of the whole series, which is a statement I 100% agree with. Party of One is one of my favorite episodes of the whole show, with how not only funny it is at times, but how it shows us a side of Pinkie we hadn't seen prior to this. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a little episode breakdown of Party of One to not only talk about why I love it so much, but also how it's a good character study of Pinkie Pie. So go grab some food and a drink, maybe some pie, ice cream, chocolate milk, hell, maybe even make Pinkie Pie real and ask her to make something for you. That'd be pretty damn cool. As we break down the episode, which had that time Pinkie Pie broke down. So Party of One is the second to last episode of season 1, coming right before the finale, The Best Night Ever. It premiered on April 29, 2011, and was written by Megan McCarthy. Megan served not only as a co-executive producer on the show, but also wrote quite a few episodes too. Some episodes she wrote prior to this one were Dragon Shy, Call of the Cutie, and Green Isn't Your Color. She continued to write episodes up until season 6, where Top Bolt was the last episode she would ever write for the show. Now, like I said in the intro, this episode is one of the most beloved of the entire series. On IMDb, it has an impressive 8.8 out of 10, being the 19th highest rated episode of the show on the site. You'll also find a good amount of discussion online about the episode, talking about how it's either the best episode of season 1 or one of the best episodes in general. There's even an entire YouTube video dedicated to talking about why it is the best episode. Again, I can totally see why it's so beloved, and I even agree with the people who say it's one of the best. And well, with all of that background out of the way, I think it's time to explain why I think this. So the episode starts out pretty calmly, actually. Just Twilight reading a book, she gets a knock on the door, and it's nothing too crazy.
This is your singing telegram. I hope it finds you well.
Yeah, no, I lied. Sorry. So Pinkie Pie comes out of nowhere to start a singing telegram, inviting all of her friends to a party, that being a birthday party for Pinkie's pet alligator named Gummy, who's turning a year old. Now, what I like about this opening is just how much effort Pinkie puts into simple party invitations. Like, she has this whole singing telegram that she sings to all of her friends, and for every friend she visits, she actually has a different outfit on, except for when she visits Rainbow Dash, she doesn't get a special outfit. Too bad, Rainbow. But as she keeps singing, she obviously gets more and more tired, because, like, all of this just from inviting your friends is probably gonna drain you quite a bit. And so the second she finishes at Fluttershy's cottage, she's out. As for the song itself, it's good. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite songs of the whole series or anything, but it's enjoyable enough.
Next time, I think I'll just pass out written invitations.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Never try that again, Pinkie. We then actually see the party itself, where all of Pinkie's friends seem to be having tons of fun.
Just wanted to tell you how happy I am that you can make it to Gummy's party.
Are you kidding? I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Me neither. When Pinkie Pie throws a party, I am there.
This entire party scene not only shows us what an average Pinkie party is like, but it makes sure to put a lot of emphasis on how much her friends enjoy them and how happy it makes Pinkie that they're enjoyable. This is going to heavily contrast later on with what Pinkie believes her friends actually think of her parties, but we'll get to that. I love how throughout the party, Gummy just keeps appearing out of nowhere. First, he's caught by Rainbow Dash as she's bobbing for apples, and then he's just chilling in the bunch that Rarity's drinking, which leads to her spinning it out when Pinkie isn't looking. Also, I just gotta appreciate Fluttershy's dancing for a moment. Look at her go.
Having fun? A blast. You always throw the best parties, Pinkie Pie. They're always the best parties because my best friends are always there.
Okay, Pinkie, that was not necessary. Other than that, we once again have Pinkie being told how great her parties are, with her exclaiming how her friends being there are why they're so good.
Go, Gummy! It's a birthday! Go, Gummy! It's a
Yo, shout out to Pinkie for that 50 Cent reference. Love to see it. Anyways, the party's over, and her friends are reflecting on the fun they just had. Thankfully, Gummy's first birthday party was a success. Twilight even says a line which Pinkie gets pretty excited about, that being that they should do this again soon. Now, of course, since this is Pinkie Pie we're talking about, she takes this soon as tomorrow, with her arriving at Twilight's library, inviting her to Gummy's after birthday party the very next morning. If Pinkie sees any opportunity for a party, no matter how uneventful the occasion may be, she's going to throw one. However, this time, Twilight actually seems to be pretty busy, meaning she can't come to the party. Or so that's what she claims. But with her nervous smile and the fact that she purposely grabbed tons of books of her magic, something's clearly up. But Pinkie believes her and is totally okay with Twilight staying behind to study. But upon seeing her other friends, she notices a strange trend.
This afternoon? As in this afternoon, this afternoon?
This afternoon? As in this afternoon, this afternoon?
This afternoon? As in this afternoon, this afternoon? This afternoon? As in... Yes! As in this afternoon, this afternoon!
Every single one of her friends not only said the exact same thing upon hearing the party was that afternoon, but each had some sort of reason for not being able to go. Applejack has to pick apples, Rarity's hair is dirty, and both Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash have to house sit a bear. But again, something's clearly up. Applejack was clearly hiding something with how nervous she was when talking to Pinkie. Rarity quite literally ran over to a trash can just to make her hair dirty. And Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash are clearly just making up this story as they go.
Yep, he loves to
Collect
beach volleyball.
Play beach
Collect
volleyball.
seashells.
Collect
Play
volleyball.
seashells.
Shout out to this scene for being the reason this legendary image exists. Also, something I find really interesting about this scene is how Pinkie mentions she knows just about every pony in Ponyville. This may just be a throwaway line, but I think it helps suggest just how dedicated Pinkie is to making sure every pony is happy in Ponyville, to the point where she remembers quite literally every pony she meets. We do see this fact brought up more in later episodes like Season 2's A Friend Indeed and Season 5's Party Poops, where she remembers all these names and even has all this information about what every pony likes for parties. Like, literally every single pony in Ponyville. When I say Pinkie is dedicated, I mean it. Anyways, this strange trend starts to confuse Pinkie, and she begins to think something is up, and that all of her friends are actually just making up excuses. Although, funnily enough, there's a line in here which implies Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash's excuse was the most believable, despite how especially awkward they were when coming up with that lie on the spot.
Sure, Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy had to house sit for that vacationing bear, but what are the chances all my other friends would have plans this afternoon too?
But anyway, she starts to get even more suspicious when she looks out the window to see Twilight sneaking around, despite her claiming she needed studying to do. Pinkie knows something is going on, and so it's time for her to get to the bottom of this. So firstly, she wants to know exactly what Twilight is up to. Why is she sneaking around like this? Why did she go into Sugar Cube Corner? She sets up the good old tin can system in order to try and get an idea of what exactly Twilight is doing there. She seems to be getting something from Mrs. Cake and tells her not to tell Pinkie Pie. The combination of Twilight saying not to tell her about whatever this thing is she just got and how all of her friends seem to be avoiding her party definitely seems to upset Pinkie a little bit. She now knows that something is being deliberately hidden from her for some unknown reason. Also, I love how throughout this entire scene, Gummy is just being a silly guy with his ball of yarn. Gummy throughout this entire episode is just fooling around, and it's great. I also love how Twilight actually notices the tin can near the end too.
Hey, what's with the tin can?
So now that Pinkie knows something is being hidden from her, she wants to try and see if she can find out what is being hidden and why. So she gets a disguise out and starts sneaking around to see if she can find any clues as to what is going on. And as she sneaks around all throughout Ponyville, she overhears her friends seemingly talking about her behind her back.
She didn't see you at the sweet shop, did she? I don't think so. I'd hate for her to ruin everything. Can you believe she was planning on throwing an after-birthday party today? I'm just glad I was able to come up with an excuse for why I couldn't be there.
You just gotta feel for Pinkie, man. From what she's heard and observed, her friends have been trying to avoid her. They have this big secret that they are purposefully keeping from her. Rarity outright says she doesn't want Pinkie to ruin everything. And Fluttershy and Rarity have a conversation about making up excuses for not going to Pinkie's party and how what they're setting up is going to be way better. Of course this is going to upset the pony who loves her friends and making them happy with her parties. Now obviously her friends don't actually hate her or anything, but you have to consider Pinkie's position here. She always thought her friends enjoyed her presence and coming to her parties, as we saw in the party scene from earlier. Them suddenly seeming to be like, Yeah, our party is going to be way better. Thank God I was able to purposely get out going to Pinkie's party. The very next day is definitely going to confuse and upset her quite a bit. Now, one pony she actually hasn't ran into yet is Rainbow Dash.
Hi, Pinkie Pie. Uh-oh.
This low-key has the same energy as this Family Guy funny moment.
Morning. Good day to you, sir. Hey, wait a minute, what the heck?
This leads to a scene very similar to the opening of another Season 1 episode, Griff on the Brush Off, where Pinkie is chasing Rainbow all throughout Ponyville. But this time, rather than chasing her to hang out and have fun, she's chasing her angrily, wanting to find out why she and every pony else is avoiding her. She even does the same things that she does in that other episode, appearing out of nowhere when Rainbow thinks she's away from her. I do love this chase scene, as it's just funny seeing Rainbow constantly trying to get away from her in fear, with her just showing up again, getting more and more angry. Like, I'd be pretty scared too, especially considering Pinkie is able to keep up with her so well. Like, Pinkie's just too powerful, I swear. Anyways, Pinkie is eventually led to the barn, where Rainbow Dash and Applejack quickly try to hide. Upon knocking with her literal head, Applejack comes out and Pinkie asks what could possibly be going on inside that barn. And well, unfortunately for the element of honesty, she has to lie once again right in Pinkie's face, with her claiming construction is going on in there.
Oh, well, she was just bringing in some supplies. Yep, supplies for the renovation. Fixing up the whole thing, top to bottom. Lots of construction going on in there right now.
This is definitely one of my favorite scenes in the episode, because you can tell that Applejack is struggling to keep up the facade. Her awkwardness, the big smile, the sweating, she's definitely hiding something. And Pinkie's angry look intimidating her even further is just great. She even tries to shove her way into the barn because she knows that Applejack's just spewing bullcrap. But after Applejack slamming the barn door in Pinkie's face and sticking to her lie, Pinkie figures it's best to just leave them be for now, as Applejack is not going to tell her the truth at the moment. At this point, Pinkie is truly frustrated with how her friends just refuse to tell her what's going on and are running away from her constantly. But she's not going to stop here. She still has one final plan to uncover the truth, and that's to get a certain someone to spill the beans.
Wow, nice spread.
Oh boy. Spike, run while you still can. So Pinkie's final plan is to interrogate Spike, of all people, and get him to tell her the truth. She even has Gummy hold him down by his tail, like, damn. But with Spike clearly not being in on whatever is going on at all, he just starts spouting whatever. He even confesses to several things he did, which are completely unrelated to what Pinkie is even interrogating him about.
And sometimes, when no one's around, I do this. Looking good, Spike. Looking real good.
Me too, Pinkie. I love how Gummy eventually just gives up on holding Spike down and just decides to watch this all unfold from the top of the chair with his blank stare. But eventually, Pinkie outright asks Spike to tell her that her friends are lying to her and avoiding her because they don't like her parties anymore. And this is when Pinkie starts to become truly terrifying. Like, people always talk about how scary Fluttershy is when she's angry, but Pinkie is probably just as scary when you really make her mad. Like, look at that expression and tell me you wouldn't be intimidated as hell. But that's why I like this interrogation scene so much. Watching such a happy character start to become this angry is quite entertaining and is a side of her we've never seen up to this point. Spike also just confessing to a bunch of things that really don't matter that much is pretty funny. Eventually, Spike tells her exactly what she wanted to hear, despite being forced into saying it and not being genuine at all. But someone else repeating Pinkie's thoughts back to her is enough for her to believe that this is in fact true. And then it happens. Pinkie Pie has reached rock bottom. Her mane is now completely flat, showing how that playful side of her is gone. The last time her mane was flat like this was before she even got her cutie mark when she was still working at the rock farm with her family. Her colors are also a little darker, showing how she's no longer as bright and happy as she was before. After everything she has observed and heard throughout the day, she is now under the impression that her friends just don't like her at all anymore. And as the pony who loves making others happy, that's gotta really hurt. She depends a ton on the approval of her friends, so when she doesn't get that anymore, it just truly breaks her. And well, after this realization, we get one of the most iconic moments in My Little Pony history.
Thank you all so much for coming. It means so much to Gummy.
Could I have some more punch?
Well, of course you can have some more punch, Mr. Turnip.
Pinkie is starting to lose it, throwing the party anyway for a bunch of inanimate objects. She even has these pretend voices for them, treating them like actual beings. One in particular, a pile of rocks, is given a Brooklyn accent and is named Rocky, just like the iconic boxer everyone loves, which is just absolutely amazing. Often, Pinkie will twitch very briefly before going back to talking to her friends. And well, eventually, we get the frame.
Oh, they're not so bad.
She starts to hallucinate, with her new friends seeming to actually be alive and talking to her about how poorly her old friends treated her. But despite being so broken and so upset, Pinkie at first says that calling them losers is a bit much, but eventually her own hallucinations lead her to being more angry at them for how they treated her, and she insists on never talking to them ever again. This entire sequence is just done so well, and is for sure one of my favorite moments in the whole show. It's so interesting to see Pinkie in such a broken state, having these hallucinations about these inanimate objects talking to her, having these fake voices for all the objects, and her not being her usual cheerful self at all and getting angrier and angrier at her friends. The visuals with the paint splatter background for when she twitches and hallucinates work really well, and you even have this uneasy music playing in the background. Andrea Libman, the voice in Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, also did a great job with the voice acting here. I love all the pretend voices Pinkie gives the objects. And of course, Pinkie's design here is just perfect. In fact, I actually really like the look of Pinkie with a flat mane. Obviously, you can't beat her puffy mane, but I don't know, she just looks good with the flat mane as well. What can I say? This scene is one where I can definitely see why it scared a lot of kids with just how unnerving this whole sequence is. And again, the fact that this came out only a few months after the Cupcakes creepypasta really helped the idea of Pinkie being this evil pony truly take off in the fandom. It also doesn't help that of all ponies to eventually enter the scene, it was Rainbow Dash. Like, it really does seem like this episode was inspired by the creepypasta, but nope. Also, gotta love how despite all this taking place on the second floor Sugar Cube corner, Rainbow is able to get in with this random door from the ground. I actually did not realize that until now. Boy, I sure hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Had some place to be and couldn't slow down and say hello. You know how it goes. I don't know how it goes, all right.
She is so mad, dude. Anyways, Rainbow's here because she wants Pinkie to head over to Sweet Apple Acres with her. But with how all of her friends been acting, she refuses to go with her and wants to hang out with her new friends instead, continuing to make them talk with their own pretend voices.
No thanks. I'm spending time with my real friends. Isn't that right, Madame the Flower? Oui, that is correct, Madame.
Pinkie Pie?
I love how confused and freaked out Rainbow looks here. I mean, hey, at least Gummy's having fun. Despite Pinkie's unusual behavior, Rainbow still tries to convince her to head with her, but Pinkie continues to refuse. And after Rocky calls Rainbow a chump, she's had enough. But once again, Pinkie just refuses to come with her for even a second.
I said no.
You have to come with me.
No, I don't.
Okay, see, there's just no need for that now, was there? Like, genuinely, why did she do that? So with Pinkie's constant refusal, Rainbow has to do things the hard way and literally drag her by her own tail to Sweet Apple Acres. Poor Rainbow, man. She had to witness the most unnerving party ever and then drag this pony by her tail all the way to the barn. But now, after all we have seen, all the conversations we've heard, all the attempts at avoiding Pinkie, it is now time to see what they've been hiding from her this entire episode.
We're here.
Huh?
So it turns out this entire time the secret they were keeping from Pinkie was a party for her. I'm just imagining her friends waiting for Rainbow to come back with Pinkie and being like, damn, what is taking her so long? But with how far gone Pinkie has become, she isn't happy with this party at all. In fact, she thinks this party is actually a farewell party, celebrating her being kicked out from her friend group. And once again, she becomes pretty scary with just how mad she gets at every pony when they wonder why she'd even think that. But her friends let her know what the party was actually for. Her birthday. That's right, Pinkie Pie straight up forgot her own birthday. This is always something that stood out to me because it just goes to show how much time Pinkie spends making other ponies happy compared to focusing on herself. She has all these names memorized, this information about what kind of parties to throw for certain ponies. She has planned so many parties for others that she eventually completely forgot about her own birthday. That's like actually insane. Making other ponies happy is that much of a priority for her. It once again makes you really feel for Pinkie, as for a moment she felt that all of her efforts for all these parties that she threw for her friends meant nothing. But upon finding out it was her birthday all along, Pinkie returns to her normal cheery self.
Because it's my birthday! Oh, how could I have forgotten my own birthday?
Me too, I'm glad that's over. She instantly is back to the way she was before, jumping all around in excitement at the sight of the party. She apologizes for the way she acted, and her friends forgive her for the misunderstanding. We also get this funny exchange between Rainbow Dash and Twilight about the strange party Pinkie had.
I'm just glad I haven't been replaced by a bucket of turnips. Huh? You don't want to know.
And so with that, Pinkie and her friends celebrate her birthday party with Twilight narrating a letter to Celestia about the lesson she learned. That lesson being never assume the worst from your friends. The episode then ends with Pinkie asking her friends if they'd still be interested in Gummy's after birthday party, which they are. And well, that was Party of One, the episode which had that time Pinkie Pie broke down. Like I said already, this is definitely one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. It's not only super entertaining and quite funny at times, but it's a great exploration of Pinkie Pie's character. Watching her slowly get more and more angry as she finds out the truth, and then that entire sequence where she just lost it completely was great. It's so interesting seeing such a happy and bubbly character like Pinkie Pie suddenly turn into a shell of her former self, becoming much more sad and angry and having these pretend friends. Up to this point in the show, Pinkie Pie could get a little frustrated, sure, but she never got anywhere close to this point. And again, I can understand why this episode even creeped out some kids, because Pinkie's behavior legitimately becomes unnerving. Even before that entire sequence, Pinkie's anger becomes pretty intimidating, and you can tell with how others react. I just think this episode is not only one of the best episodes of the show overall, but the best Pinkie Pie episode, period. There's a reason this episode is as beloved and iconic as it is. It's simply just fascinating to see this dark side of Pinkie Pie and the build up to that. So I hope that this video was able to show why I love this episode so much and why I think it works as well as it does. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I have tons of ideas for other My Little Pony videos, so definitely feel free to like and subscribe for more. I'm also getting pretty close to 200k, with me being less than 10k away at the time of me recording this, so thank you guys so much for the support. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace!